I got an ad recently for something called the Tuttle Twins books. I actually wrote it down. Just give me a moment.
I actually heard about this, yes. Saberspark came to visit me not too long ago at my house, and he suggested that to me. It's called The Tuttle Twins and the 12 Rules Boot Camp is what I have down here. Is that what you got?
No. I got something that was actually was just advertising the company itself, but it was rather disgusting how they did it.
Okay.
They actually used children to promote a political agenda.
Of course. That's the kind of thing that we've come to expect from them, right?
Yeah, it's disgusting, but it's expected.
It's literal, actual grooming.
It sickens me that the trans community, my community, I'm a trans woman, clarify, that these people, the Tuttle Twins, Lauren Boebert, hell, Matt Walsh, that they would just lie and then be a hypocrite and actually be the groomers, the pedophiles,
Oh, you're
I'll
good.
just stick at groomers.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
And it's sickening, but expected, and it's...
Absolutely. It is rife with hypocrisy. Like, there is no sense of hypocrisy with these people. They will go to any lengths. It's like that one clip I play. I don't know how much you watch my stuff, where they say, Hitler always goes for the youth. We must go for the youth. It's like they're this close to understanding that they are the enemy, you know? It's crazy.
These people don't have the people on Flashpoint, specifically, it seems like they don't have a conscience.
Right? Whatever they can do, they'll do it.
Yeah. It hurts.
Yeah, it does. But we got to keep fighting, right?
Yeah, keep fighting. I saw something on Reddit about the ruling that you guys were talking about, your first segment.
Yeah.
And I'm sure your wife has a lot to say.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And one of the things that it was saying was, why? Why just have this? And also, for your wife, for the life of me, I can't remember her name. Your name. Rose.
Hi.
That was my ex-girlfriend's name.
Okay.
She was a wonderful woman.
Okay, perfect. This one is too, I think. By the way, do you have my e-cigarette?
And
well, I'm glad I'm in good company with other roses.
She can't be heard on the call.
Oh, that's right. Shoot.
Well, that's disappointing. Or not, depending on whether you actually want to hear me.
Disappointing, or not, whether or not you want to hear me. But at least I'm in good company, she said.
It was a question for her.
It's a question for her, okay.
Is it possible to sue SCOTUS for violating or breaking not common law? What is it? 300 years of practice.
I will dictate her answer to you. Go ahead. What's your answer?
No, there's no real way to hold the Supreme Court accountable, not through a lawsuit, not through like any kind of election. The Supreme Court dictates what is constitutional, and the Constitution is the highest law of our land.
They can be impeached, but like that's going to happen. It's the exact same process as impeaching a president. It's just not going to happen, you know.
And on top of that, what we'll probably have to end up doing is the same thing the Republicans did for Roe versus Wade. We're going to need to replace a lot of the Supreme Court justices with justices that actually care about human rights. And then we're going to have to get an ideal case in front of them so that they can specifically overrule this case. It's difficult. It's doable, but it's going to be difficult, and we're going to have to fight.
And this is just my little note on top of that. That's how it always is. It's difficult, and we always have to fight, but the moral arc bends toward justice. Not naturally, because we bend it that way, you know?
Yeah, artificially.
Yeah, we do it. We have to be the ones out there fighting. So anyway, that's my take on it too. Anything else you wanted to mention?
Is there anything the UN can do about this other than urge America to change?
I mean, the United States is operating without really any care for how the international community views us. The UN and dozens of countries have now put out like travel advisories to the United States and to specific states, but that doesn't mean anything to bigots. If anything, they've held it out as a badge of honor. You know, look at the evil UN, look at all of these evil Europeans, Asians, whatever else. They want they want to discriminate, and they will do anything they can, and no one's going to stop them unless we do. There's no one coming to save us.
And here's my note to that. I totally agree with that. But something you'll notice is that there don't seem to be any countries criticizing the United States. Not very much. It's very rare to hear a country criticize the U.S. It's almost like they just kind of want to stay in their own little pockets and do their own little things and not worry about anything. Not like disrupt international whatever unless there's something so serious that it can't be ignored, like Russia invading Ukraine, for example. Like that couldn't be ignored, and they called for Putin to go to The Hague after that point. The United States has not come to that point, although it's become very clear at this point that travel advisories are very warranted, for the gun problem in the U.S., and a bunch of other things. So anyways, yeah, just got to keep fighting.
This is my last question. Do you think if Trump or DeSantis gets into office miraculously, do you think we'll have another Russia situation?
What do you mean? Can you elaborate? What do you mean by Russia situation?
Like how Russia is corrupt, how they have so much screaming power, yet their core is so rotten that it will fall from under them at any blow, any true blow, even if it destroys the rest of the world.
Yeah. Well, with Russia, it's a really interesting thing, the way that Russia worked and the way that it became the way that it is. It's like the short answer to the question is I don't think so. If DeSantis or Trump takes control of the U.S. or something like that, I don't think that that's going to happen, similar to Russia. But in the 90s, in 91, I think, Russia was it was all part of the USSR run by Gorbachev, and then Yeltsin took control, Gorbachev's successor. And Yeltsin and Gorbachev basically ended, for all intents and purposes, communism completely, and it all collapsed into a fully capitalist, a completely unregulated market, at which point the people at the very top in Russia started selling off all of the state's assets to all of their close friends. Like Vladimir Putin at the time was the mayor of one of the cities and, had the authority after it fell to basically sell parts of the city to people. And that's what he did. He sold businesses and buildings and all kinds of stuff. And that's how you got oligarchs. They were basically people that were close friends with the people that were in charge at the time that this took place. It was a very unique situation that played out in a very specific way that couldn't have really played out unless it was in that very specific set of circumstances. So I don't think it's going to end up like Russia where the bottom is hollowed out and the whole thing falls apart like that. But the U.S., it seems to be almost on like an accelerationist path that, in my opinion, is going to end badly unless we do something, unless people higher up than us, honestly, do something to prevent it from happening. Like Biden and the Democratic Party seem to be working toward ending the corruption that comes from Republicans and stuff. So we just got to hope for the best.
See, I would actually care to disagree with that. Basically, I think that the United States could not survive another Trump presidency or someone similar to Trump, like Ron
I agree with that.
DeSantis. We had so many issues, so many circumstances where democracy almost fell last time around. And we got by just by the skin of our teeth. I don't think we would be that lucky again. And I think that they would be more prepared this time around to have the power to destroy our ability to hold people accountable for corrupt acts.
I agree with her on we won't survive another Trump situation. My stepdad, he's an abusive person, but he owned an electrical company, or owns an electrical company, and he loved Trump back in 2016. By 2019, he was happy to see literally anybody on the Republican Party out. He hates the Democratic Party, hates them. He would rather have a DeSantis than Trump. And I do hope that his company goes under for personal reasons, but I don't want to see it go under because of Trump. I don't want it to go under because of DeSantis. I want it to go under because he's a person and deserves that.
Yeah, that makes sense. You don't want him to be able to blame it on anybody but himself, right?
Yeah, but he's a narcissist. He'll find a way.
Yep. I absolutely know what you mean. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to get on to the next person. Appreciate the phone call, and hopefully I'll talk to you next time, okay?
Thank you. You have a good one, y'all.
Yeah, you too. Area code 402. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
How's it going?
This is going fine.
Good.
This is a question to your wife, Rosa Morgan. What she thinks about that crap shovel court case between FCC and Microsoft, where the FCC was protecting Sony, the market leader, and not Microsoft and the consumers.
I vaguely know about it. It's not one of the ones that I looked at closely, although I will say it's good to speak to another Nebraskan. Go Huskers.
The area code. Are you from Nebraska, 402?
Yes, I'm from Nebraska.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, she's from Nebraska too. Yeah, we haven't looked too closely into the case, but we'll have to take a look at that case. What do you remember the name of it?
It's basically talking about Microsoft owning Activision, and Sony's crying because they're going to lose a lot of money, and they're complaining. They're going to make Call of Duty exclusive while they make Final Fantasy 16 exclusive and cut off from Xbox.
Right. I you know what? I feel like I've heard a little bit about that. That's interesting. I'm going to have to look into that a little bit myself. But that sounds crazy. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much for the call. Any other questions or mentions or anything?
Nope, not tonight.
All right, thanks for calling.
Okay, bye.
We got area code 260. Can you hear me? Area code 260.
Yep, I can hear you.
How's it going?
It's going really good, man. I'm
Awesome.
so excited to be on the phone with you because my wife's a mega fan of you. And she has been sending me literally everything you have put on YouTube,
cool.
and we've literally watched everything together. We just love
That's
everything you do because it helps us with our deconstruction of our cult-like past, because I was a pastor's son in Fundamental Baptist, so you can imagine the nutter buttery that I went through, and she was a daughter of a missionary, so we kind of
not a fun situation. Yeah, absolutely no.
Yeah, and your show has helped us so very much. My
cool.
wife did email you. It's some interesting things. It's about my dad's church.
Okay.
So if you can check that out sometime, dude.
Yeah, I'll take a look. What's the first name I should be looking for? I'll keep a lookout.
Soretta.
Okay.
And like I said, my dad has actually said this one phrase that I haven't heard anyone that you've covered so far, like the QAnon people and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I have not heard this one yet, but you mind if I tell him? He told everybody in the congregation, and this is just at like prayer time where he gets like prayer requests and then they pray about it. This isn't even the sermon part. He told everyone there that the light blue and light pink in the LGBTQ flag was for pedophiles.
Okay. Yeah, I've actually heard something similar. Are those the trans colors, or is it just another part
those are
of
the trans colors.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yep.
And he actually posted it all to Facebook, so he's on Facebook. The church is Open Door Baptist Church, so if you ever see any of that stuff, he's quite unhinged lately. I actually sent him a no contact letter because I came out as non-binary, and now I have been labeled by them as an enemy, and basically me, my wife, and my kid are disowned by them. So when you're talking about how you've been disowned and stuff, again, you don't know how much you've helped both me and my wife.
Understand.
And it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. How long has it been since you've been kind of no contact?
We just recently did it because I'm still breaking through a lot of the stuff. I've done my wife wrong and stuff like that because of my upbringing, and I have to deal with all this crap, and I'm trying my best to change my entire life outlook because what I was on was completely wrong and like horrible. And I just want to apologize to everyone who has ever had a religious nutcase like I was, and like a lot of people have pounded on your door and stuff, and I am very sorry for all of that.
Yeah, me too. Don't feel too bad. I did the exact same thing, knocking on people's doors and everything else.
Yeah, but so it's a lot to process through. It's only been about 2 years because of how heavy we're in it. I mean, I did junior church, I did Sunday school class, I did special music, I was a trustee. I mean, I was into it, dude.
Wow. So was it IFB or was it like a different form?
Yeah,
or
it was IFB. Like,
wow.
My dad went to Hiles Anderson, and same with my wife's dad.
Pretty extreme, huh?
Oh yeah.
It's really
very
extreme. So
extreme.
you said that they're QAnoners too, huh?
Oh, they feed into. I mean, anything Fox News, Trump, and anything to like completely do against against us. Yeah, they're in that.
That's rough, man. Well, just stick it out and keep on keeping on, right?
Yes, sir. And as soon as we get the money, I'm definitely subscribing to you, like following you more. It's just right now we just moved to Indiana and stuff, so we're kind of tied up. So
I get it. Yeah, I don't ask for anything from anybody. So if you can't, then somebody else will pick up the slack for sure.
Oh yeah, I know, but you got to make a living too, and you do such a great job with your research and stuff, dude. You're amazing.
I do my best. Thanks. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Do you have any other questions, comments, or anything else?
One more thing, and I'll hang.
Sure.
I'll let you go. Have you ever played Brawlhalla?
No, I don't think so. What's it for?
It's on all the platforms. It's cross-platform. You can battle anybody. It's almost like a Super Smash Brothers, but it has like Rayman and all these other different characters and stuff. It's really cool.
Interesting.
So if you ever get a chance,
check that out.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's free to download on the Switch and any system for that matter.
Okay,
of fact.
wow,
So.
on the Switch too. I'll check it out for sure.
And you can even download it on your phone. I actually play a lot on my phone, and my kids on the Switch, and we play. We hook up and play online and stuff. So.
Right, I've been looking for something to do on my phone while I'm sitting on like the train or sitting in an elevator or whatever. So that sounds good.
Oh, trust me, it'll keep you busy.
Right? Okay, I'll give it a shot then.
Oh yeah, and they do tournaments too, so you'll be all set.
Very cool. All right.
All right, take it easy, man.
All right, you too. Talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Awesome. And I'll tell you what, we'll hit one more The plan is one more. 618 area code pulling up now. 618 area code. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. Let me mute my TV because if I start hearing my voice, it's going to throw me off.
Okay.
So I've been watching your channel for quite a while. So, like, little short backstory. I've, super chatted in that my wife had passed away back in 2020. She was 38. My son at the time was 3. And, it's been difficult. So, I got on YouTube, stuff like that. I, started watching these channels, and a little bit before she passed, like I'd say about 2 or 3 months, I came out to her as atheist. Like I didn't believe it anymore. Most of it was because of her parents and the way they were doing us. She didn't see it because she was still very much like in the religion. Part of the reason why she passed away is because she had high blood pressure and diabetes, and she didn't feel like taking her medicine, and that caused a brainstem stroke. And, I always told her, I go, why would you not take your medicine? You're going to die. She's like, God wouldn't let that happen to me,
So she was like ultra religious then?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But her church wasn't that extreme. Like, her church didn't preach that kind of stuff. This came like from, it seemed like her family, So anyway, she had passed, so it had been just me and my son for a while. And, of course, her side of the family wants to indoctrinate him. So I'm doing my best to try to explain to him reality. But at 6 years old, he's not really going to see that.
Sure.
But anyway, I've been following your channel, and I've seen like the different times where you've, brought up talking to your mom and stuff like that. And this last video, and I have to say, like, the last video that I saw, I thought, Owen, you won that battle. You may bear the scars, but you won, dude.
Yeah.
And that inspires me. Like, it inspires me to just keep doing great and doing the best I can in my life.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a challenge to deal with my mom because it's, it's like there's absolutely no getting it through her thick skull. It's like a dead end road. But I figure if I talk about it, some people may find some value in it, some kind of interest, and maybe learn from it in some way,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The thing that I felt, and you might agree with me, I don't know, but I felt like that it wasn't necessarily so much the Jehovah's Witnesses getting their claws into her. That's how I felt at first, but now it seems like she's using the Jehovah's Witnesses to further her goals or further her narcissism or whatever it is, right? I mean, do you feel like that too, or?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. She's most definitely got narcissism for sure, and she uses Jehovah's Witnesses as a religion to further any mental conditions that she seems to have, for better or worse. Not good.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm inspired by your story. And,
I appreciate it.
And whenever I was younger, so whenever I was about 16 years old, me and my mom at that time didn't get along too well. She was very overbearing as a parent. I was brought up in a Baptist church. My dad was a deacon of that church. He helped build the church with his own bare hands. He had passed away in 2009. And anyway, they were very much into that religion. As I was kind of exploring on my own and stuff like that, getting in my teenage years, I had a truck. At the time, I'd worked at Walmart and stuff. And me and my mom didn't get along at all, and she ended up kicking me out of the house. And I had to go live with my dad, who was just absent in my life, So I feel for you that your dad was abusive towards you. My dad was non-existent, it seems like, Towards the end, he really did kind of start stepping in, where he needed to, but that just made it that much harder.
Too little, too late.
After his passing. Right.
Yeah.
And, so I had to live with him, and whenever I was living with him, I was either kicked out or ran away. I mean, me and him didn't get along, so I was staying with friends, not knowing what friend I was going to stay with, what meals I was going to eat. So I can kind of relate a little bit in that way. Although your story was like more extreme and it was more finite, than what mine was. Like eventually I'd go back and maybe stay a night or two at my dad's. We'd, have our words or whatever, and then I'd be gone again for weeks at a time.
Right.
So I ended up joining the Navy to kind of get out of that situation.
Did it work out?
Yeah, kind of. Being a young kid like that and finding my footing, going into the Navy immediately afterwards, I got out and found myself in a little bit of trouble, with the law.
Yeah, I understand.
It wasn't necessarily anything that I actually did myself. I knew a lot of the things that my friends were doing, but I was kind of caught up in that whole mix anyway.
Yeah.
Ended up having to take a plea agreement, spending a bunch of time in prison. And, I kind of, if we have time, I have a question for Rose. I have no idea if it would work or not, but,
okay.
Ended up getting out and fixing myself up and, just trying to move on and get past this point in my life. And,
yeah,
the question I'd have for Rose is this really came back and bit me in a big way where there's restitution that came along with all this stuff. And, anyway, I got a letter in the mail from the federal government saying, hey, we need this, we need your income and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, what's this about or whatever. 2 days later, my work calls me and says, hey, we got contacted from this office saying that they're wanting to garnish your paycheck. So I called the number on that paper. I'm like, what gives? Why are you guys garnishing my paychecks? And the lady on the other side of the line says, oh, this isn't a check garnishment. We just need to figure out, that you work there and what you make and stuff so we can come up with this payment plan for this restitution. I said, okay, that's fine. I'm willing to work with you on that. I go, but for the past 6-7 years, you guys haven't worried about it. You've been happy just taking my income taxes. So what gives there, Yeah. Oh, I'm just new on the case and I'm playing catch up. I go, that's fine. If you need payment out of me, that's fine. Let's do that. Oh, let's be in contact and we'll work something out. Let's just not garnish my checks.
Right.
And then I get a letter in the mail a week later saying they're going to garnish my checks.
Interesting.
So my thing is this happened back in 2003 or so. Mm-hmm. It's now 2023. I mean, almost 20 years
later.
Or yeah, it was. Yeah, it was in 2003. So my question is I made a plea agreement and the judge asked me, did you make this plea agreement under duress or blah, blah, blah? Of course I said no, because I was scared. I was told by my own lawyer that I would get 20 years if I didn't take this plea agreement.
Right.
So of course I was scared. Of course I was under duress. So I want to get my case heard under that premise, saying that I was under duress whenever I make this plea agreement. I want to withdraw my guilty plea and plead not guilty and make them find me guilty in court or not guilty. Yeah. Thing is, I didn't do it, so they have to prove that I did it, right?
Well, yeah, this innocent till proven guilty, yeah.
Right. And so I wanted to withdraw my guilty plea based on that. But in this letter that she sent me, they said that they were only going to be able to come after me until 2029. This is an astronomical, I will never pay this in my entire life type of restitution to an insurance company.
Hundreds of thousands, I guess, right?
$381,771 and some odd cents.
Right.
Sounds like my student loans.
Right. And this lady tells me, now it's for the rest of your life. Until this is completely paid off, we're coming after you for the rest of your life. So my thought is, they now changed my sentence from what it was previously to what they feel like they want it to be now.
Interesting.
Do I have time? Can I go in and withdraw my guilty plea even though so much time has passed?
Well, let me tell you what my thoughts are, and then Rose can tell you her thoughts. Will that work, Rose?
Oh, I would rather go first, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
So this is such a hard position to be in, I know. And the criminal justice system has so many issues with it. But unfortunately, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a law student, and even if I were a lawyer, I'm not your lawyer. I can't give you any kind of advice, but what I would say is look at, some of the free resources in your area, legal aid, or even reaching out to the public defender's office and see if you can maybe get some legal advice.
Mm-hmm.
And here's my position on it. I think that I don't know who's contacting you, but I'll tell you this. After coming out of cybersecurity, like I was a software engineer for 6 years. I was involved in cybersecurity for years and everything. I don't trust anybody if they're calling me or anything like that, ever. I need like a registered, certified letter from the U.S. government before I trust it, and even then I don't trust it. So be very, very wary. Don't give anybody any information over the phone or anything like that unless you've completely 100% verified everything, and don't trust a word out of their mouths. Don't click any links that are emailed to you or texted to you or anything like that. So
Yep. And this one came in the mail to me.
Oh, did it?
So
okay.
it is in the mail from the attorney's
government.
office and stuff too. So
well, maybe it's real then. Maybe that's the case. I would recommend there are a lot of free resources out there for real. In fact, aren't there clinics, Rose, at local law schools?
Yeah, you could reach out to your law school in the area. A lot of them have legal defense clinics that are fantastic.
Teaching students how to do this stuff, and they have like they have full-blown lawyers overseeing it. Is that right, Rose?
Yeah, and you have someone double checking their work, but they're all very competent.
Reach out to a law school near you, and they may actually be able to help you with that, because if they're trying to get, you know what, they will try to get one over on you no matter what. That's just the world, man. They will do everything they can to get every penny they can possibly get out of you, so don't let them if you can avoid it.
Yeah,
that's my take.
And that's what I'm trying to do now. The thing is I got one of few outcomes that could come out of this. I could say I'm withdrawing my guilty plea. The judge could say I'm going to hear this, and then he could say, all right, 20 years. Well, now what? You know what I mean? Or I could say, I'm going to do this, and he says he hears my case, and he says, all right, I find you not guilty of this, and you're free of that restitution. Or he could say, I find you not guilty and completely overturn my case, and I'm due all the money I paid back.
Well, I do have to get off here in a second, but something that I believe, so all I know about this is just the little bit that I've picked up from being in the legal system and kind of following along with Rose here, but I believe that as part of a plea agreement, I think you have to allocute. So you have to describe the crime and admit guilt when you take a plea agreement. So when you took the plea, you basically said, yes, I did do this, and you described exactly how it happened. So I don't think it's possible to withdraw a guilty plea in a plea bargain like that anymore since it was allocated. But I don't know. Like she said, work with a professional in the area, like a clinic, a free clinic at a law school or something, or public defender. That'd be good. But anyways, Did you have any other questions for me or anything?
I mean, I kind of watch your channel and follow along on how to keep my son from being indoctrinated with church. Of course, he's 6. There's cartoons that he watched that he thinks actually happen.
Right.
So what's some of the things that I could tell a 6-year-old to help him kind of come to his own conclusion on that?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I did with my kid was, like, my mom was trying to indoctrinate her behind my back, and I slowly but surely kind of eased my way into critical thinking skills. Just talked about the difference between true, not true, and false. And talk about the difference between, all of these other things. There's as much critical thinking knowledge as you can possibly get. Teach the Socratic method, Teach them how to do street epistemology, that kind of thing. Even at a young age, they're interested in this stuff, and it comes in handy as time goes on. So I would recommend just teaching basic critical thinking skills. In fact, teach about what a fallacy is and teach about propaganda techniques and how they're connected to each other and stuff, you know? That would be my recommendation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I let him watch your guys' channel and other people's channel with me too.
Right? That's
you know,
cool.
so he'll sit there on the couch and like if he sees you on there, he'll actually talk to you thinking you can hear him. It's kind of funny.
Cool.
He does the same thing to John on his channel. And
that's funny.
he'll be like showing a toy and stuff. Oh, look at my toy, so I have to super chat. Hey, David's holding up this and this and that. Then you know, John will acknowledge or what have you. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So I kind of show him that side of life, like you don't have to be bogged down with church. And today he didn't want to go to church with them, but I'm trying to teach him tactic there too, because we can't just take him. Nope, he's not going to church anymore. You know, like sometimes you got to put up with this kind of stuff, you know, to make grandparents happy. And then, you know, trying to get them to kind of get in that mindset. You know, he used to come in here and he would just argue Jesus with me all the time. And I'd tell him, well, what proof do you have? Can you talk to him? Is he with us now? Well, of course he's in the house with us, Dad, you know. And I'm like, where? Bring him out. Have him talk to me. I'll believe. Just have him talk to me once.
It sounds like a fantastic way to do it. Yeah, that's how I would do it too, for sure. It sounds like you're on the right path with it. Just keep hammering away, you know.
Yeah, and he's a smart kid, so I don't foresee him being sucked in for too long. He is very smart. He picks things up quick, so
yeah.
You know, it's good on him for that.
That is good, yeah. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate you hanging out with me and chatting. It's been fun.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to catch you on a live stream. I'm glad I got to get on a call-in with you. You know, I've always wanted to talk to you for a long time, just, you know, because like I said, I'm inspired by your story. I'm inspired by you getting on YouTube and doing what you do. That it helps me, and I know you help others and stuff like that. That's the kind of good I want in my life after having lost my wife, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I do. I consider you. You don't know me as well, but I consider you my friend. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
well, give me a call back one of these times, and we can talk again.
Oh yeah, for sure I will. But yeah, you guys are awesome, and I love, you know, whenever you bring your wife on or your kid on, and you know, I feel like I get to meet your family and stuff.
Yeah,
so that's so awesome. You got an awesome family, Owen.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think
great meeting you guys.
Thanks. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll talk to you later on then. Okay.
All right, man. All right. You have a good evening.
You too. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Awesome. All right. Well, we are off the air. That was a long call, but it was an interesting one, I thought. Pretty productive. What did you think, Rose?
Yeah, it was. I definitely enjoyed talking to everybody. I really, I don't know. I just enjoy talking to people. So, I mean, I'm probably going into the right profession. But, yeah, it was. I wish I could have been more helpful, and I'm sorry that I couldn't be.
No, you know what? As I've come to find out, there are a lot of ethical rules that come along with being a lawyer that you cannot give legal advice to somebody who is not your client. It's a real thing, apparently, that you can get in a lot of trouble for permanently if you do something like that. So just general ideas, general advice, general information is pretty helpful, I think. But anyway.
I will happily rant about Supreme Court cases with anybody, but unfortunately, the bar tends to frown on practicing law without a license. I wonder why. But
oh, terribly. Yes, they definitely do. Okay.